In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. We'll also be discussing breaking news. Coinbase faces a new lawsuit over alleged investor deception. That's right. We'll also be discussing here's the next price target for Bitcoin as Bitcoin repeats the previous bull market pattern, according to this crypto analyst. We'll also be discussing JP Morgan Chase paying $448 million fine to the U.S. regulators for failing to monitor billions of transactions on the bank's global trading venues. We'll also be discussing 6 to 12 months of parabolic advance on the horizon for Bitcoin, according to the on-chain analysts. We'll also be discussing crypto analysts unveiling a massive Bitcoin price target of roughly $300,000 per coin. I'll be breaking down this flashing chart pattern along with this outlook and time preference. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. But anyways, fam, if you're new to the channel, very important to smash the subscribe button to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, including Sundays when church is in session, just like this. Also important to pump the likes. It helps pump the stream and helps out tremendously with the YouTube algo. Today is pod episode number 1630. I'm your host, JV. It's May 5th, 2024. And church is in session. So let's get right into it, shall we? Bitcoin, nice recovery yesterday. I think we recaptured 65 range after hitting a low of, what was that? 56.5 just a couple of days ago. And Bitcoin's maintaining right now, still above 64,000, as we can see here on Coin360. Also, Ether in the green, trading above 3,100, while Solana, Cardano, and XRP are pulling back in the red, along with Drake. Anyways, checking out coinmarketcap.com. We're sitting at a 2.37 trillion market cap with 51 billion in volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance 53.4%, with the Ether dominance still on the decline, back in the 15% range, sitting at 15.9%. How high do you feel Bitcoin Dom will climb for this cycle? Let me know in the chat. Also, how low or high do you think the ETH dominance is likely to take us? Holla at your boy. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours. We got AKT up 18%. We got Arweave 12%. And WorldCoin, the infamous one that was stealing your retinas, trading at up 10% in the day. Below that, we got Render, Near, Ajax, FET, Atom, and GRT. Now, which alts are you guys most bullish on for this particular bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get more of that visual perspective of the market. Mixed bag. It's safe to say. I'd say like half the coins are in the green, half the coins are in the red. But zooming out on the monthly for a more broader perspective, definitely most of the alts have been wrecked in the past 30 days, as you can see in your screen. Blood red, yo. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, we're still in greed, 69, same as yesterday. Last week is 65, and last month is 79 in extreme greed. So there you have it, my crypto fam. Let's dive into a little TA, a little astrology for men for the broskies. Here you go. Bitcoin's price can see a bullish trend reversal and propel the next leg up if popular trading indicator known as the inverse head and shoulders pattern gets confirmed, according to the analysts Matthew Highland, quoting him here. If we don't break straight through 67.5, then something like this forming over the next month would make sense for a bottom pattern reversal. He's referring to the inverse head and shoulders pattern, the bullish indicator that signals the downtrend is easing and buyers are becoming more dominant in the market. Quoting him again, it would be great setup to propel next leg up. He declared, next leg up, send it. And although it is crucial, Bitcoin holds above its short-term hodler price of 59.5 to maintain the bullish trend. Anonymous crypto analyst and co-founder of CMCC Crest, Willy Woo, the on-chain analyst himself, shared the following. The setup appears when Bitcoin's price forms three troughs because a so-called neckline resistance below it, with the middle otherwise known as the head, deeper than that, the left and the right shoulder. So as the Bitcoin price has slightly rebounded from the head of 58.6 May 1st, if the pattern continues as Highland's model suggests, it'll find support around the second shoulder at 60,000, which is also a key psychological support level. The decline would represent a 5% from the current price of currently 64,000. So dropping to this level could liquidate 530 million worth of long positions according to CoinGlass. However, again, we had a nice recovery. We're currently sitting at 64. So the likelihood of dropping back under that key psychological level of 60 Gs, not the most probable outcome in my opinion. And according to Highland's model, Bitcoin may rise above the neckline and exceed the current all-time high of 63.8 by June, re-entering price discovery. And on top of this, buyer interest in the crypto market is slowly increasing, as I pointed out, in the crypto greed and fear index sitting at a 69. Now, meanwhile, some traders expect Bitcoin price to remain stagnant in the near term, but they don't necessarily view this as a bearish signal. Quoting Titan of Crypto, the longer the Bitcoin consolidation takes, the higher its price will meet the trend line. And quoting Dan Crypto Trades, Bitcoin's previous cycle all-time highs tend to slow down price and make Bitcoin stall for some weeks. Now, there you have it. How do you feel this will likely play out? Holla at your boy. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, on the back of this post from Vivek, public companies, Block has 43 billion, MicroStrategy 20 billion, ETF issuers are BlackRock and Fidelity, the private companies Tether at 50 billion. They're now stacking sats like crazy as well. You know what I mean? And nation states, El Salvador, all buying millions to billions worth of Bitcoin every month. Are you paying attention? And it shows you the hot Faye, I don't know if they mean the hot phase here, but nonetheless, you can see each halving cycle where we go parabolic. So here's what Kaiser had to share regarding this post from Vivek. He wrote, these numbers are set to quad in 2024X. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe a quad is a 4X, right? 400% return. And quick shout out to Barek. I appreciate that. Super. So anyways, Max says 220,000 is in play. Stack harder. So there you go. Who slam harder? Bitcoin or Vince Carter? Bitcoin, just saying. So Barek says, had to pause the track and pick up my jaw when I heard the lyrics, trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. Precisely, you're quoting Kendrick Lamar from the diss track. Multiple meanings just within that one bar. Next level disses, I am telling you, yo. Anyways, fam, next story of the day. Coinbase has another lawsuit. Yes, sir. Coinbase Crypto Exchange and its CEO, Mr. Armstrong, face a new class action lawsuit alleging investors were deceived into buying securities and claims the company's business model is illegal. That's right. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California in San Francisco represents plaintiffs Gerardo, Thomas, Edwin, Tiffany, Edward, Brett from California and Florida, alleging Coinbase's digital asset sales knowingly violated state security laws since the company's inception. The lawsuit claims that Solana, Polygon, Near Protocol, Decentraland, Algorand, Uniswap, Tezos, and Stellar are tokens which are securities. You can see the lawsuit draft here from the United States Northern District of Cali. And the complainants claim that Coinbase admitted it is a securities broker in its user agreement, making digital asset securities sold by the exchange as investment contracts or other securities. Also claim Coinbase Prime Brokerage is a securities broker. The plaintiffs seek full rescission, statutory damages under the state law, and injunctive relief through a jury trial. This lawsuit resembles another class action suit alleging consumer harm from Coinbase's sale of securities. Coinbase argued that secondary crypto asset sales didn't meet security transaction criteria and disputed the relevance of security regulations. This new lawsuit is distinct from Coinbase's highly publicized legal battle with the US SEC, which also questions whether tokens sold on Coinbase should be classified as securities. Coinbase has recently filed an interlocutory appeal in response to the judge's decision, allowing the case to proceed. Now, in an April 26 filing in the U.S. District Court of the Southern District in New York, John Deaton, the crypto lawyer currently running an election campaign to unseat Senator Elizabeth Warren, filed an amicus brief in support of a motion for interlocutory appeal on behalf of 4,700 Coinbase customers. Now, Coinbase reported A strong rebound in the first quarter of 2024, supported by an uptick in market performance and the launch of a spot Bitcoin ETF. The exchange posted $1.6 billion in total revenue and $1.2 billion in net income for the first quarter, achieving $1 billion in adjusted earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So there you go. Here's something I do know. The more wealthier a company becomes, the more lawsuits will follow, because when you have that type of wealth, you're going to have enemies. And those enemies may include those who lost money investing in those crypto so-called securities, right? So if anyone lost money, they have the right to sue them. This is the world we live in. So let me know your thoughts with this lawsuit. And do you think any of these tokens will be officially deemed securities by the U.S. regulators? I'd love to know your thoughts. Of course, KJam, this smells like securities. 100%.
Too many frauds and scams.
These clowns trying to take us down. What a guy. Wow, what a guy. Wow, what a guy.
But anyways, next story of the day. Let's discuss this 100,000 target, shall we? Headline reads, here's the next price target for Bitcoin as Bitcoin repeats the previous bull market pattern. So here we go. Pseudonymous analyst Tech Dev shares with his 500,000 followers on X a chart which compares the Bitcoin current market cycle to that of the 2020-2021 cycle using Elliott wave theory, which traditionally suggests an asset goes through bullish impulses in 5 main waves. Tech Dev speculates the Bitcoin is going through a final bullish move that will take it near the 6-figure range later this year. The impulsive structure of the last 1.5 years says $90,000 to $100,000 is next. BTC, 100 G's. Can you say 6 figures? Send it. Based on the chart, you can see here, Tech Dev also suggesting the Bitcoin's RSI, which is a widely used momentum indicator, has cooled off, foreshadowing one more big upside move for the king. The analyst recently predicted the Bitcoin would rally by over 120%, similar to what happened in late 2020 when Bitcoin surged from around 13,000 to over 29,000 in just 2 months. According to the analyst here, Bitcoin's 2-month candle is right on the candle body high. Soon after, max compression, a relative strength index is about to break 70. And as these have been the conditions which led to the last 3 parabolic accelerations, I suspect this next 2-month candle will be as tall as November 2020. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. And can you see an incoming $90,000 to $100,000 Bitcoin price? Holla at your boy. Let's keep it moving. Next story of the day. Let's discuss the latest with JP Chase getting almost a $500 million fine for failing to monitor billions of transactions on banks' global trading venues. Add this to the multiple billions of dollars in fines they have paid over the years. I mean, mind-boggling. Here you go. JP Chase will pay a total of $448 billion. What the am I reading this wrong? Is this number not million? That's not billion. That says 448 million. There's no way they're paying 448 billion. I think this is a typo. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but this number is definitely million. There's only 2 commas. There's 6 zeros. I know for a fact this number says 448 million, almost a $500 million. But I think the error is right here where they're claiming 448 billion. I don't think they're worth that much. So obviously this must be an error. And they also doubled down on the error here, 348 billion. So I'm going to stick with my intuition telling me 448 million, family. You know what I mean? But anyways, in a filing with the US SEC, the banking giant says it made a deal with the unnamed US regulator that will add an additional 100 billion in penalties. I think they mean 100 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no way they can be paying hundreds of billions worth of penalties, family, to the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which is ultimately the Fed. In March, the 2 regulatory agencies accused JP Morgan of engaging in unsafe or unsound banking practices, saying the lender's corporate and investment bank division had significant gaps in its trade surveillance program. According to the OCC, the bank failed to properly monitor the actions of its traders and clients to detect potential market misconduct. market misconduct on billions of trading activities on at least 30 global trading venues. Now the banking giant says it's paying an additional $100 million after offsets for the amounts paid to the OCC and FRB to another U.S. regulator to settle a separate enforcement action involving the same issue. Now, while JP Morgan does not name the third regulator involved, the firm says it self-identified that certain trading and the order data at its corporate and investment bank was not feeding into its trade surveillance platform. The firm says it now determined to continuously enhance the reliability of its trade infrastructure and maintain rigorous controls. Data from the Violation Tracker, a comprehensive corporate misconduct database, shows JP Morgan paid nearly $40 billion. Whoa, since 2000 to resolve 277 enforcement actions and lawsuits involving toxic securities abuses, banking violations, investor protection violations, and other offenses. Now, you know how I feel about JP Morgan. The New York-based bank has made $50 billion in net income last year. So what's a $100 million fine when they're banking $50 billion freaking dollars per year? But don't let me go off here on Jamie Dimon, CEO. Jamie Dimon, the CEO, JP Morgan Chase.
Bitcoin, etc.
Because you already know how I feel about this dude.
You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance.
The number is million, but they are using the word billion in the writing of the article. That's what I assumed, KJM. Thank you. They are fining now in Zimbabwe dollars. What? Bottom line, they throw better people in jail for much less. Why does JP Morgan get fines and other people get jail time? I think Jamie Dimon needs to be held accountable. What do you say?
Criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering.
Just the cost of business for JPM. I know, again, if you were making $50 billion a year, oh my God, I got to pay a few $100 million fine to stay out of jail, but we can continue our illegal banking, whatever we call it, cartel. JP Morgan has been involved in $3 trillion in illicit transactions since 2020. That means this Jamie Dimon has some balls.
Tax avoidance.
The largest corporate fine at the time. Tell them. Love that song. Me too, Molly. Let's dive into our next story of the day. Discuss a little parabolic Bitcoin price action. Then we'll dive into a 300,000 Bitcoin price target. We'll keep an eye on the Nipponator indicator, and then we'll dive into some live Q&A. This headline reads 6 to 12 months of parabolic advance on the horizon. For Bitcoin, according to the on-chain analyst, we're talking about checkmate. That's right. He tells his followers on X that based on the previous cycles, Bitcoin is most likely in for about 6 months of chopsolidation, or a choppy period of consolidation with no real trend shift. After 6 months, checkmate says the 6 months to a year's worth of parabolic moves could be in store based on historical precedents. Quoting him here, Bitcoin history tends to rhyme, and thus far this cycle is no different. The song sung during the last two cycle paints around 6 months of chopsolidation ahead of us, followed by 6 to 12 months of parabolic advance, as outlined right here. Now, while some are speculating the Bitcoin bull run may have already seen it top, I don't think that. Who would think we topped out just because we barely broke the previous all-time high, for Christ's sake? But anyways, here's what he shared. If we measure from the cycle high, we see the same chorus. Establishing a bull market top here would no question be a major break from the Bitcoin norm. It could for sure happen, but we must dig deeper to investigate. April so far has seen prices drop by over $8,000 month over month. I'm expecting text messages from the sidelines saying, hey man, what's up with Bitcoin? It's down a lot. I hope you sold it. I mean, if you have anyone in your circle you think is going to message you that, I'd block them now. Just saying. Checkmate isolates every year, and when a Bitcoin halving takes place and notes that corrections like the one Bitcoin had since March are par per the course. The analyst also notes that the end of the halving years tend to be quite bullish for the king. Quoting him again, if we isolate Bitcoin halving years, 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024, we can see month-over-month performance via the table and chart. Month-over-month corrections of this magnitude are the norm, not the exception. And the end of the year is usually pretty powerful as per first charts. In fact, we have been seeing a lot of price action movement in the beginning first quarters of the year, just like we saw this year. Remember February, we gained $20,000 in a single month. And last year, it was off the back of the regional banking crisis, but we also got out of the depths of hell as far as price action is concerned, as a result, also in the first quarter. So let me know your thoughts with some of these predictions as we continue to pump it up. Now for our featured story of the day. Crypto Analyst unveils massive Bitcoin price target of almost 300,000 per coin. It says Bitcoin flashing bullish chart pattern. I'm going to be breaking down his outlook right here, live and in the flesh. Welcome y'all just joining the stream. Greatly appreciate y'all support. Church is in session. Take it away. The widely followed crypto strategist believes the Bitcoin can skyrocket over 337% based on a classical chart pattern. Send it. So we're talking about Big Cheds. He shares with his 330,000 followers on X. Bitcoin appears to be forming a cup and handle pattern on the weekly chart. Now, Ched says that based on classical charting rules, Bitcoin can soar close to 300,000 per coin in about 2 years. Quoting him here alongside the chart, Bitcoin visual of a bull thesis. Measured move for a weekly cup and handle would be roughly $280,000 biddy, likely sometime in mid 2026, is outlined right here in the chart. The trader highlights that the price target and the timeline go against the two widely held views on Bitcoin's market cycle. One is that the Bitcoin bull market will likely end in 2025 based on the 4-year cycle, and the other one involves a theory that Bitcoin is witnessing diminishing returns each cycle. But in the meantime, Cheds implies the Bitcoin may have already seen the bottom of its latest correction after reclaiming 61.5. So he's ultimately saying that recent dip we just witnessed of 56.5 was the bottom. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. Quoting him here, Bitcoin decent volume cluster building on the 4-hour chart, flip 61.5, and it gets interesting. Now we all know the 4-hour chart is JV's favorite. I cannot wait until our next pump watch when we re-enter price discovery mode. We'll be scoping out that 4-hour chart, as you can see here. Looking at the chart, he suggests the Bitcoin looks bullish following a fake out to the downside. The chart also shows diagonal resistance at around 63,500, roughly where we're currently at. And at this time, we're trading between 63.5 and 64,000. So let me know your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree with Big Cheds that we may not see the cycle peak until 2026, something we have never witnessed in previous cycles? For example, 2012, 2016, and 2020, we always witness the cycle peak the year preceding the halving. And then this time, for the first time in Bitcoin history, for this cycle, 2024, just recently, mid-March, we broke the all-time high prior to the halving for the first time in Bitcoin history. Does that make the 4-year cyclical cycle, no longer in effect? Does that mean things can change? Does that mean we can have a longer bull run? Does that mean we may have a shorter bull run? Some anticipating hitting the all-time high this cycle this year. Some are saying next year if things tend to rhyme like previous cycles. And now we have analysts saying, hey, we're going to have a longer than anticipated bull cycle. We may not peak out and hit 280, 300,000 until 2026. We also have Giga Chad Mike Saylor, the one and only. He says we may see a 10-year bull run. Things are different for this landscape. So I want to know your thoughts. When will we likely hit the cycle peak? When 6 figures? Can you see 300K occurring for the King Crypto? And if so, by what year? If you were to guess, let me know. I personally feel we can easily hit 6 figures this year. That just means 100,000 or more. I think we hit multiple 6 figures for the cycle peak. And I'm still in the camp that we don't hit that cycle peak until next year, right? Maybe Q3, potentially Q2, if not Q4. However, I'm also open to entertaining the idea that the bull run lasts even longer. And maybe we don't hit the height in 2025. Maybe Sheds is right. Maybe it will be 2026. Or what if the Giga Chad is right? And what if we're just on a 10-year bull run, right? Unlike we've ever seen before in previous cycles. Yeah, I mean, what would happen then? Let me know your thoughts, family. I want to know where you feel the Bitcoin price will likely be as a result, and I'll read your comments out loud. So, Barek says 300,000 this year. I'm feeling it, big dog. Let's go. Was the Matrix messing around? Is when the Matrix never messing around? My chickens love the cicadas. They would eat them. Oh, wow. Let's all place one social media message about Bitcoin this week. If you could help JV and help CNA, Crypto News Alerts, retweet the daily tweet I sharing the stream. I do 2 tweets per day. Post, no longer tweets, no longer Twitter, right? But I do 2 posts per day. If you guys can retweet them, it will only help get more eyeballs on the stream and is greatly appreciated. I saw a study that says there is psilocybin in caqueras. Nice. Psilocybin? Yes, please. 10-year gold rush. Digital gold rush. 2 years. Us old people ain't got 2 years. I need it now. Holding my breath. You got to have patience, Thomas. Hold in there, brother. I saw a 100-year-old running a marathon the other day. 100 years old. I saw a Mr. Beast video. 100-year-old contestant. 100 years old. Right? So don't underestimate your lifespan, broski. I just tried a couple. I prefer the white wine and some sweet and sour sauce. Word. Done JV. eBank. What up? Pump it up. Retweet. Thank you, KJam. Appreciate it. Bitcoin will end this year at 86,000 euros max. How many US dollars is 86,000 euros? Man versus machine? Let me know. Chardonnay, eh? I'll eat the caqueras, but I'll stick with the mushies. Yeah, mushies for psilocybin all day. Cicadas, JV, not cicadas. Tatas? I don't know. Thank you. Cicadas. Cicadas. Don't tell me about the stuff I don't need to know. I used to love figs till a few weeks ago when I learned about how they are started. Oh, don't turn me off on figs. I got a whole bag of figs downstairs in the fridge, yo, from Costco. I love figs. You going to tell me something negative about figs now and ruin my whole week? Please don't. Bitcoin needs patience, my friends. 10-year bull run, 250,000 mid-2025.